Khamzat could beat anybody in the world in about a round. I don't see that against DDP. DDP's scrambly, man. I used to think he was the sloppiest thing on planet Earth, and I thought the same thing about Merab until they bring that volume and just the tenacity, and it changes everything.
Who are your favorite fighters in the UFC right now?
My favorite fighters, man. I like what the fighting nerds are doing. You know the fighting nerds?
No.
Yeah, it's they got Hoofy. They have maybe it's my favorite gym right now. They have Caon Boralho, and they have oh man, what's that other dude's name? Who's that other guy? Anyways, right now the guys that are hot right now for me that I'm kind of interested in, they're all kind of undefeated. They're called the fighting nerds, and there's like Gene Silva. There's like 4 of them. There's like 4 of these fighting nerds that are. They come out with their glasses and whatnot. They're doing a really good job with marketing. I think one of them could potentially fight for the title at 185 pounds, and then they're all kind of undefeated, and they all have really good striking. They really understand the game really, really well. So I'm curious to see how they end up panning out in 2025. These Brazilians out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. So there's like 4 of them right now, and one of them got a breakthrough fight of the year. Like these dudes, they're making noise, so I'm excited to see what 2025 has to offer.
I am so glad that, you didn't pull like a Dana and be like, oh, John Jones. I feel like every time I ask that question, it's just John Jones has the exactly. It's like, let's get some people who we haven't heard of yet. That's exciting.
Carlos Pratas, he's undefeated, real knockout power, super dangerous, good striking. And then Caon Boralho, like those guys right now are making waves, and I think Boralho is probably about 1 fight away from fighting for the title.
Were you impressed by DDP's performance last week?
Yeah.
Do you think it was more of a performance of DDP or a lack of a performance from Strickland?
I think a little bit of both. I think Sean's never going to change.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to
walk at you like that.
Throw the jab faster, maybe.
Do you think Khamzat beats DDP?
Dude, Khamzat, I just in a 5-round fight, man. Seeing 2 fights with Khamzat, man. Khamzat could beat anybody in the world in about a round, but I don't see that. I don't see that against DDP. DDP's scrambly, man. He's not. It's super impressed with what he did to Robert Whittaker. But I just feel like you're going to need to really be able to pace yourself for 5 rounds. And with DDP's train just continue to keep rolling and he's still steaming and his train's still hot, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. And hopefully they fight here pretty soon, or Khamzat's going to need a fight here pretty soon because he fought Robert Whittaker, I don't know how long. It depends on how long DDP wants to take a break. So you're probably looking at maybe August. Maybe for him that he wants to fight again, unless he wants to fight sometime in the summer. But I'm not too sure, dude.
Khamzat fight in the summer, or
Khamzat's probably gonna have to take another fight to feel good and to become champion, because the fight that he did come with Whittaker, he did beat him fast, dude. But you're gonna have to prepare, man, for a guy like DDP. You're gonna need a 3-rounder, a 5-rounder to get ready, but. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think DDP's too. I used to think he was the sloppiest thing on planet Earth, and I thought the same thing about Merab until they bring that volume and just the tenacity, and it changes everything. You know what I'm saying? They're able to mix things that makes it very, very problematic for people.
Is Islam too good for his division?
No, Islam's good. Islam's good.
Does Arman stand a chance?
Of course. I think Arman would probably give Islam the hardest trouble, but I don't think he beats him. And this is why the UFC's they're probably mad at him because of his back or whatever, because they felt like he could have competed. But I've also had spasms before, and real spasms, bro. If you have a spasm, fuck, you cannot move. I think he's a fight away from maybe fighting Islam, but I feel like at this point, Islam needs to go up. And he needs to fight Bilal Muhammad, man. Like, he's already, the Charles Oliveira fight, that doesn't excite me. Charles Oliveira is a dangerous fighter, but I don't think there's anything that Charles could bring to the table to Islam to eventually beat him. And I just feel like it's time for people to go up. Fuck the friendship. It's about that belt. Give me that belt, and that's all there is to it.
Does Topuria stand a chance against Islam if he goes up?
No. I think, of course, he's got hands, dude. But I just feel like Islam's defense is going to be tight. And then once this dude starts to get going, like, Islam's going to use the clinch or potentially take him down. I mean, of course, does Ilia have a chance? Yeah. Do I see him beating a guy like Islam? That's a hard one, dude. That's a hard one. I just don't, But if he does, dude, kudos to him.
Who's on the rise that might take the belt in the next year or two?
I think Tatiana, dude. I think she'll learn from this fight from Wei Li. I think she could become the champion still. Even though, she got outworked. I think there's just small little areas she can work on. I think she could potentially become champion. Because I think she'll learn the lesson. Being undefeated and then losing, I think people will really learn the lesson. I was one of them. Who would have known after getting knocked out against Demetrius Johnson that I would be back in there again. So I want to give her, I'd probably say Umar too. In the next couple years, I think he'll become champ as well at 135 pounds. At 45, at 145 pounds, I think they're still, I don't know. I think Ilia's going to reign that for a minute. 55, I'm not too sure if Islam's going to stick around and fighting for that long. I think these guys, especially after Umar lost, with the trolling and everything that goes on, those Dagestanis, they take that shit personal, dude. So you don't want to lose, man, because they'll just troll you to the end, dude. And
you're a great troll. Like you said, nobody wants to lose to a troll. You know how to get under people's skin. You know how to say some controversial stuff. And you run a podcast. You're a host. You can potentially get yourself in some hot water by saying some things that are too far. Bryce Mitchell, he said some things on a podcast.
Yeah, no, I ain't that fucking. Yeah, don't put me in that category.
No. What do you recommend to fighters who are trying to get their brand out there and be on podcast and be in the spotlight without stepping in it and saying some dumb stuff like that?
Yeah, I think be you, man. I think, and that's something that I do respect from Dana White. Dana White's always been pretty respectful on the free speech side. Now, if that's going to cost you your job or your fans, that's on you. You got to be careful, dude, with shit like that. Like the whole conspiracy stuff, like that's cool. The earth is flat. But once you start, like, dude, you're I guess you're walking that tightrope, dude, where you could just fall and then just never come back.
Yeah.
Dude. Like people just, it's a turn off.